Hello, Debt-Free Degree Patreon beloveds. I am here with a dear friend, Kelli Kilpatrick. And let me tell y'all, I met her this summer. She was one of the finalists for North America's Next Greatest Speaker. And when I tell you on the stage, she is so dynamic, and her topic had nothing to do with college consulting. And it was so engaging. I immediately was like, okay, I got to meet this person. And then to find out that in addition to all this other stuff we have in common, then she is also a college consultant. I said, would you please allow me to interview you so I can share your expertise and your zone of genius with my Debt-Free Degree Patreon community. And so, beloveds, she is here. So Kelli, tell us about you and your college consulting business, and correct anything I got incorrect.
No, DrRoz, you got it all correct. You're very generous in your the way in which you characterize both how we met, and I appreciate your support for sure. We're new friends, but I know that we're going to be long friends. We certainly
Yes.
have many things in common.
Yes.
So I'm Kelli Kilpatrick, and I have had, as you're aware, a very long career in higher education administration. I've spent more than 3 decades inside of higher education, consulting with higher education, and also coaching prospective students at both the undergraduate and the graduate level. And this experience has also been very global. I spent an entire year, 1 year, working with Chinese families that were looking to gain admission into American higher education. So I have been blessed with a very long career at institutions with strong brands. That includes, not exclusively, but the ones that your network will know most, was Duke University, the University of Notre Dame, Texas A&M University, and Texas Christian University. And so when I say that I bring experience to the table for those that are looking to navigate the complexity of the college admission process with ease, I think I have the background and experience to support the fact that I can bring expertise to the table.
Yes. What of the many things that you said, Kelli, that I want to pick up on, what I would love to dive in on, and I love this phrase, I help you navigate the complexities with ease. Yeah. And that is who you are. That needs to be your tagline, if it's not already, or one of your taglines. Because talk about, I mean, if you even students, from a debt-free degree perspective, students who are looking, like, if you're trying to compare apples to apples, right? And then you're like, okay, well, what are the fees? Well, the fees over here, if you are in this particular course, there's a fee. If you're in this particular major, there's like this add-on to, if there's like, it's hard to even sometimes make those comparisons. So how do you distill the complexities of higher ed, not only entering higher ed, but exiting, and of course, from our perspective with the debt-free degree, with ease? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. You know how often when you're grown, you go about the process of purchasing a home, or at some point in your life, you'll go about the process of purchasing a home. And most people don't do that very often. They do it a handful of times in a lifetime.
Yes.
Well, the college experience is the same, right? Like, we don't navigate that very often. And if we do as adults, and we have children that are going to college, we navigated that so long ago, more than 2 decades ago, probably, that it's changed so much that we can't even relate to it. So it's confusing. Like, it feels like a black box to most people. If you went to college, it's changed, as I mentioned. If you didn't go to college, you don't have any context. And so it just feels like something that is insurmountable.
Yeah.
And it's changed. The higher education landscape has been disrupted so much in the last couple of decades, that it's changed so much that it feels like it is, it feels like that it is so complex that you don't even know where to begin. This is what I've done market research with folks that are clients or look like the types of clients that work with me. And this is a common thread, is that it's complex. I just need someone to walk me through the steps. The investment is so great because tuition has skyrocketed so much over time that I don't even know if I can afford it. And if I can't afford it, I don't want to not send my child to college. And so I just need someone to help cut through the noise.
Yes.
Help me know what it is that I need to know and what it is I don't need to know. And having been the person on the inside who has interviewed hundreds of thousands of candidates, I've evaluated the applications of hundreds of thousands of candidates. I have made hundreds of thousands of admissions decisions and sometimes been the final authority on very difficult decisions, admit or deny. I have awarded millions of merit-based scholarship dollars that were institutionally funded. So I've been the one that had to be the steward for those investments.
Yes.
And then I've helped students on the other side as they come into my programs. If they lose their scholarships, navigate, how am I going to pay for this? Or, you know, I've seen it. I've seen it, DrRoz, from the inside.
Yes.
And so when a candidate presses the submit button, I can tell them exactly what's going to happen next.
Right.
And so the value that someone like me brings to the table is going beyond the pretty marketing websites that are going to position all the institutions the same in their best light, and cutting through the I present it from a perspective of there's so much about this process that you can't control. That let's kind of focus in on your span of control, and let's impact the things that you can control. And then let's navigate from that particular place to start with. And the financial literacy part of this whole process is incredibly important, that folks understand not just what tuition costs, but what the total cost of attendance budget is.
Right.
To identify this, as I refer to it, the sources of revenue that are going to cover those costs. And not over a 4-year time horizon, by the way, DrRoz, as you know, in recent years, more than 50% of students that begin their freshman year of college do not complete in a 4-year time span.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And so many people are looking for, they're chasing merit, if you will, institutional merit. And if you're chasing institutional merit, which means your child has done well enough to be awarded financially for their academic profile upon admission, oftentimes, those are for a finite period of time, typically 4 long university semesters. And if your child doesn't complete, or if you don't complete in those 4 long university semesters, then you're stuck holding a bill that you can't pay, which means that you can't complete your degree.
Right.
And so we need
now,
to be
4 years or 4 semesters?
Sorry, 4 long. Well, it's 8 long university semesters.
Okay, I just want to make
4
sure.
4 academic years. I may have misquoted that. Thanks for the clarification.
I just wanted to make sure because what's interesting is I just met with a family last week, and they came to me because their child just started their freshman year, and freshman year is fully covered for tuition, fees, room and board, but room and board is not covered starting next year. And so they're like, how do I put this together? And why would they only offer it for a year? And so that's why I wanted to clarify. So Kelli, who is your ideal client? Is it the student that's going to college? Is it the student plus the family? Is it the parents or the family members or all, or?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because it's a multi-stakeholder process.
Yes.
The
Yes.
student is the one going to college. And I really emphasize how this is the student's journey. And these are the students' decisions, like where they land. And I want to make certain that folks land exactly where they belong. So a place where they'll thrive and they'll grow in a multitude of ways. But while it is the student's journey, the parents are often the ones, if the parents are involved or if a parent is involved, they are the ones that are paying for the cost often, not always, but often. And they are surely, even if they're not paying, they are surely a part of the support system, a part of the model of student success after one goes to college, wherever they choose to go. And so it is really important to engage the entire family or support system, whatever that may look like, in the journey from senior year of high school to the college transition, and further into the freshman year and beyond, because it's, as I said, it's a multi-stakeholder experience. It's an interesting time because this is a child's typically first time making one of the biggest decisions that will impact them for years to come.
Yes.
It will impact them socially, it will impact them professionally, and it will impact them financially, or could.
Right.
And so it is the biggest decision for most, if not all, that they've ever made in their life. And it requires a great deal of intention, a great deal of preparation, and sometimes some pushing along the way.
Yeah.
It's an interesting phase of life for someone like me to be involved in. And Dr. Roz, it's pure joy and an honor to be able to walk alongside parents and their child through this incredibly important and impactful process.
Yes. I could talk to you for the next 3 hours. I have one more question, and then I'm like, okay, we probably need to wind it up. Sure. Sadly, although, maybe
I'm always here.
A podcast and we can just talk to each other every week. You said something so important, and it's what resonated with me with the speech that you gave. And then you just said it here too, in a different context. And it's this concept of belonging. Yes. In the corporate space and in a lot of higher ed space, we talk about DEI and B. So diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging.
That's right.
And what I will often say from, working from a perspective of nonviolence is the D doesn't matter. If you're looking at a directory that has several different skin tones, but there's no belonging, then the diversity doesn't really matter. And so talk about the belonging piece and how you incorporate that in your college counseling, and how that positively impacts the social, the financial, and the professional life of the students that you're working with.
So it's an interesting evolution that probably we could, like you said, we could talk about for a really long time. But belonging is one of our country's most important and top human capital needs issues within corporate America. This is evidenced by Deloitte's recent human capital trends reports. And so there's much, and this is not new, but there's much to be said about knowing that you are right where you're supposed to be, the place where you belong, that creates that sets the tone for your ability to feel psychologically safe, physically safe, and to be able to be open to exploring new ideas, new experiences, enter into conversations with people that are not like you, where growth really happens. And so whether we're talking about our professional career or whether we're talking about our college experience, many coaches will talk about helping you to get to your dream school or your dream company. And I'm here to tell you
Yes.
that sometimes the place that we dream to be is not at all where we belong.
Okay, that deserves a pom pom, sister.
It
All
does.
of that, all of that. Yes,
It does.
yes,
It
yes,
does. And,
yes.
and I've seen that in clients, and I've personally experienced it myself, because perception is not reality in a lot of instances. And I also want to be really clear too, that belonging doesn't mean that we're comfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're right where we belong because of the discomfort that we're experiencing, but we're psychologically safe, we're physically safe, we're secure, and we're in a place where we can really grow and expand. And so I could get into this whole idea of belonging this is something I'm really passionate about. And so I lead with not helping you get into your dream school. Now, if your dream school is where you belong, I'm all about it.
Exactly.
But my focus is about really establishing a path forward where you can feel like it's the right institution fit for a variety of different reasons, DrRoz, not the least of which is a great financial fit. Because if we are really feeling like this is a financial burden, then we're not psychologically safe.
Right.
And we're worried about just making the next tuition bill payment. So I really love your mission of DebtFreeDegree, because that definitely supports one's ability to be optimally successful during a time in life where they're going to experience the largest amount of growth, personal growth.
Right.
And that's going to set the stage for the rest of their life. So there are so many things that we could talk about. And where this whole idea of belonging came from is in my own personal choices. I mean, one might look at me and say, "Oh, Kelly, it's easy for you to say these things. You're a white woman that, fill in the blanks." But I'm married to an African-American man, and we're a blended family with 2 biracial daughters, and we've kind of lived belonging as a core value. And I've lived diversity as a core personal value. And so there's a big old onion there to peel back and to share with anyone that wants to listen.
Yes. Well, I am delighted to share you with my community. I thank you for this time. Is there anything else you wanted to share with them just as we close?
I will. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for what it is that you do, because it is super important. And the second thing is I want to show a tremendous amount of gratitude for your invitation to have me share just a little bit with your network, because there's so much more to share. And the last thing is to your network, because they're super special people, I'm sure. Should anyone be interested in exploring this whole idea of belonging in the college journey context, then I'd be happy to offer a complimentary coaching session.
Wow.
And really try to bring this to life on a personal level for anyone in your network. So
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. What a delight and what a joy. Well, y'all, that's all of our time today. Join us next time for our Pontification with a Pro series. We have been delighted to have you with us here today, Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you.